The infiltration of artificial intelligence into education systems worldwide represents nothing less than a complete reimagining of the learning paradigm, one that extends far beyond the simplistic automation of grading or digitization of textbooks. We are witnessing the emergence of an educational ecosystem where the very nature of knowledge acquisition, skill development, and intellectual growth is being fundamentally reshaped by machine learning algorithms, neural networks, and generative systems. This transformation touches every aspect of education, from early childhood development to postgraduate research, from formal institutional settings to informal lifelong learning, creating ripple effects that will influence the trajectory of human civilization for generations to come. The implications are both thrilling in their potential to democratize and personalize education, and terrifying in their capacity to undermine the human elements of teaching and learning that have formed the foundation of intellectual development for millennia. At the heart of this revolution lies the promise of truly personalized education, adapted not just to a student's current knowledge level, but to their unique cognitive patterns, emotional states, and even subconscious learning preferences. Advanced adaptive learning platforms powered by AI are now capable of analyzing thousands of micro interactions. The slight hesitation before answering a math problem, the pattern of eye movements when reading complex text, the subtle changes in facial expression indicating confusion or engagement to create learning experiences that evolve in real time. Systems like Carnegie Learning's Mathia or Squirrel AI's adaptive platform demonstrate astonishing efficacy, with some studies showing learning outcomes improving by 30 to 40% compared to traditional methods. These platforms don't just adjust the difficulty of problems. They modify the entire presentation of concepts, selecting examples that resonate with a student's demonstrated interest, adjusting the pacing to match optimal retention curves, and even altering the emotional tone of feedback based on the learner's current frustration or confidence levels. The implications for addressing long-standing educational inequalities are profound, as these systems theoretically could provide every student with the equivalent of a personal tutor attuned to their every cognitive and emotional need. Yet this hyper-personalization comes with significant psychological and philosophical costs that we are only beginning to comprehend. The constant algorithmic surveillance inherent in these systems creates an educational panopticon where every hesitation, every wrong turn in reasoning, every moment of distraction is recorded, analyzed, and potentially stored indefinitely. While proponents argue this data enables better teaching, critics warn of creating a generation of learners who internalize constant performance monitoring as a natural state of education. The psychological impact of growing up under such unrelenting algorithmic scrutiny remains largely unknown, though early studies suggest potential consequences ranging from increased anxiety to the development of maladaptive coping strategies aimed at gaming the system rather than genuine understanding. Moreover, the proprietary nature of these AI systems raises troubling questions about educational equity. While affluent school districts implement cutting-edge adaptive learning platforms, underfunded schools may be left with outdated one-size-fits-all approaches, potentially exacerbating rather than alleviating existing inequalities. The result could be a bifurcated educational landscape where privileged students receive exquisitely tailored AI-guided instruction, while others are relegated to standardized digital worksheets, creating disparities far more profound than those that exist today. The role of human educators is being transformed in equally radical ways, though the ultimate implications remain hotly debated. AI-powered tools like Magic School AI and EduAid can now generate complete lesson plans, worksheets, and individualized feedback in seconds, theoretically freeing teachers from administrative burdens to focus on higher-order mentoring. At the university level, AI teaching assistants like Georgia Tech's Jill Watson and IBM Watson-powered chatbot have demonstrated the ability to handle thousands of routine student queries with accuracy rates rivaling human TAs. This shift promises to redefine teaching as a profession, moving educators away from content delivery and basic assessment toward roles as learning facilitators, critical thinking coaches, and mentors for social emotional development, areas where humans still vastly outperform machines. However, this transition is proving far from smooth. Many experienced educators report feeling de-skilled and devalued as the pedagogical expertise they've developed over decades appears suddenly less relevant. There are legitimate concerns that over-reliance on AI-generated lesson plans and assessments could lead to a loss of fundamental teaching competencies, leaving educators ill-equipped to step in when technology fails or when teaching nuanced subjects that resist algorithmic standardization. The professional identity crisis this creates within a teaching profession is profound, with many veteran educators struggling to reconcile their hard-won craft with an educational landscape that increasingly views them as facilitators rather than founts of knowledge. Higher education and academic research face their own existential challenges in this AI-disrupted landscape. The traditional model of scholarly inquiry, built around literature reviews, original research, and peer-reviewed publication, is being upended by AI tools that can perform each of these functions with increasing sophistication. Systems like Cite use natural language processing to analyze how research papers are cited, distinguishing between supporting and contradicting references with superhuman accuracy. Tools like Elicit and Research Rabbit help scholars discover unexpected connections across disparate fields that might take human researchers months or years to uncover. Perhaps most disruptively, generative AI systems can now produce plausible research paper drafts complete with properly formatted citations, raising profound questions about the nature of original scholarship. Several universities have already reported cases of AI-generated research submissions passing initial peer review before being detected, sparking an academic arms race as institutions scramble to develop reliable detection methods, while researchers explore ever more sophisticated ways to mask AI involvement. The fundamental tension lies in determining where legitimate use of AI as a research tool ends and academic misconduct begins. Should students be penalized for using grammar checkers that now incorporate AI or citation generators that automatically format references? Does the use of AI to analyze datasets constitute unfair advantage or simply efficient methodology? These questions strike at the heart of what it means to engage in scholarly work, challenging centuries-old assumptions about originality, authorship, and intellectual labor. Beyond formal educational institutions, AI is reshaping society's broader relationship with knowledge itself in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. Platforms like Khanmigo, Khan Academy's AI Tutor, and Duolingo Max make sophisticated, personalized education accessible to millions outside traditional systems, potentially democratizing learning at unprecedented scale. Yet simultaneously, the ease with which AI can generate convincing explanations on any topic risks eroding the value of deep expertise. When anyone can instantly produce well-articulated answers regardless of actual understanding, we risk fostering what philosopher Michael Lynch calls the Google effect, where the line between knowing something and knowing where to find it becomes dangerously blurred. This cultural shift manifests in concerning ways in learning behaviors. Emerging research suggests that students using AI writing tools often experience outsourced cognition, failing to retain or truly comprehend material they've technically produced. There's mounting evidence that over-reliance on AI-generated explanations leads to superficial understanding, as the technology provides answers without revealing the underlying reasoning processes that human tutors naturally model. The long-term cognitive consequences of delegating so much intellectual labor to machines remain unknown, though some neuroscientists warn of potential impacts on memory formation, critical thinking capacity, and even the development of metacognitive skills essential for true expertise. The technological frontier continues to advance at a breathtaking pace, with several cutting-edge applications pushing educational boundaries in radical new directions. Virtual reality environments powered by AI tutors represent one such frontier. Platforms like Prism's VR combine immersive math education with AI systems that read student body language through VR headsets to detect confusion or disengagement, adjusting instruction in real time based on physiological cues. Even more experimental are neural interface learning systems that use EEG headsets to allow AI to adapt content based on real-time brain activity patterns, potentially creating learning experiences tailored not just to conscious preferences, but to subconscious cognitive states. Blockchain-based credentialing systems like Learning Machine enable granular, verifiable tracking of skill acquisition through AI-automated micro-credentials, challenging traditional degree structures. Perhaps most transformative are multimodal AI systems that can analyze student drawings, voice tones, and writing simultaneously to assess understanding across multiple dimensions of expression, recognizing forms of comprehension that traditional assessments might miss. As we navigate this uncharted territory, the need for thoughtful, nuanced approaches has never been greater. Educators must develop AI literacy curricula that teach students to use these tools critically while preserving core cognitive skills. Assessment models require complete reinvention to evaluate process and reasoning rather than just final products, emphasizing oral defenses, project-based learning, and other formats less vulnerable to AI substitution. Policymakers face the urgent challenge of funding research into AI's cognitive and social impacts while ensuring equitable access to prevent a new digital divide. Accreditation systems must evolve to value AI-augmented skills without devaluing human judgment and creativity. Students must learn to cultivate uniquely human capabilities while judiciously employing AI as a collaborator rather than a substitute for thinking. Parents need to engage with how AI is being integrated into their children's education while monitoring for over-reliance that might stunt intellectual development. The stakes could not be higher. We are quite literally shaping how future generations will think, learn, and engage with knowledge. The choices we make today about integrating AI into education will reverberate through centuries of human development, potentially determining whether these technologies uplift our collective intelligence or erode the very foundations of meaningful understanding. This educational transformation affects every one of us. Whether you're a student navigating this new landscape, an educator adapting your methods, a parent concerned about your child's development, or simply a citizen invested in our collective future, if this exploration of AI's profound impact on education has made you think, please like this video to help others engage with these crucial ideas. Share it with teachers, administrators, and policymakers in your community who need to be part of this conversation. Leave a comment with your perspective. How is AI changing education in your world? What concerns or excites you most about these developments? And subscribe to Presente World to continue exploring how technology is reshaping every aspect of our lives, with new videos that cut through the hype to examine what's really changing and why it matters. The future of education is being written now, and your voice belongs in this essential discussion.